I transmigrated into a novel, taking on the role of the unfortunate male protagonist whose wife only had 3 months left to live. 3 months later, I would be able to inherit a billion-dollar fortune, becoming a tragic single man. I prepared the funeral arrangements for my wife, cheerfully saying, "Wife, rest assured when you leave. I will help you spend all the money." But right then, I suddenly heard the internal voice of my comatose wife. "Don't you dream of inheriting my estate. Never in this life." Hearing that, I was startled, turning my head to look around the bedroom but seeing no one else. Did I mishear? Just then, the phone rang. "Gee Bida, my mother needs surgery, it costs 1 million. Didn't you say you'd transfer it to me today?" A cold female voice came from the other end of the line. It was the poor female lead of the novel, Licia. 1 million. I was stunned. That much money, and you have such a demanding attitude? "Gee Bida, I'm saying it again, consider the money a loan from you. I absolutely will not date you for money." Licia argued. Truly an unyielding, base appearance. I thought to myself, what is she talking about? I'm a married man, my beloved wife is lying right next to me. Who wants to date you? I spoke into the phone without reservation. If you want to borrow money, go find a bank. You and I are neither relatives, nor acquaintances. Furthermore, don't call me again from now on. Do you understand what respecting boundaries means? Not giving Licia a chance to open her mouth, I decisively hung up the call. This man has changed. I suddenly heard that voice again. I suspiciously looked toward the bed. Could it be the inner voice of my comatose wife, Lu Ruyan? Before I could think more, I heard the butler knock on the door. "Sir, it's time to clean Madam M. Lord." Behind the butler was a female nurse. I waved my hand. "No need, I can do it myself." "What are you doing? Let the nurse in." That voice was filled with anger. I sent the butler out. I began to undress Lu Ruyan. Immediately afterward, I inhaled sharply. This figure was truly magnificent, a beautiful sight revealed. I couldn't help but gently touch her eyelid with my finger. It seemed to twitch slightly. "Stop. Damn it. Get your hand off." The voice grew increasingly furious. I softly stroked the contours of her vibrant body. Danger, danger. I tried hard to restrain my hands that wanted to act inappropriately. Can't look down any further. What if I lose control and do something to a person in a vegetative state? Shut up. Call that useless butler in. Get out. The voice was angry and embarrassed. My eyes returned to Lu Ruyan's face. So beautiful it was beyond words, delicate yet holding a hint of coldness. She truly deserved the name of the most beloved icy female CEO in the story. Although she passed away early, many people mourned her. Stop thinking nonsense. I'm cleaning you now. I wrung out a warm towel, starting to wipe her face and then continuing downward. I don't need you to clean me. Call that useless butler in. When I wake up, I'm firing him. I muttered. The butler said I have to help you massage every day to prevent muscle atrophy. Where should I start? The thigh perhaps? I stifled a laugh, seeing her eyelids tremble even more violently. If I didn't know her fate, I would have thought she was about to wake up from me provoking her. "Wife, I heard you've never loved anyone." I said slowly in a mournful tone. "Look, after we got married, we never even slept together once. You're about to die, and you're still keeping your first time. Don't you feel any regret?" "Regret my foot? You're talking nonsense." That voice finally exploded. "You and I have a contract marriage. There are absolutely no romantic feelings." The corners of my mouth were about to give way to a laugh. The doctor said she really hasn't been in love. Actually, I haven't loved anyone either. Other people are married first, love later. I'm married and then cremated. My wife is so pathetic. That voice took a deep breath, seemingly trying to suppress anger. "Gee Bida. When I wake up, you're dead meat." In the evening, it was time for bed. After showering, I slipped under the covers next to Lu Ruyan. She seemed to stiffen. "Who allowed you to sleep on my bed? Roll back to your own room." I giggled. "Wife, I'm afraid of thunder. I don't dare to sleep alone." "If you're afraid of thunder, wear headphones. Get out of this bed now." I hugged her. "Besides, my feet are cold." "It's so cold, let's huddle together, honey." That voice was so angry it almost laughed. "What a thick skin. What did you call me?" I continued to talk to myself, My wife is so beautiful, yet I didn't know how to cherish her before, never kissing or hugging her. I was truly blind. The original owner was indeed blind, having such a high-quality woman in front of him and not appreciating her, yet being obsessed with a gold digger. It's just a pity that Lu Ruyan is short-lived. Otherwise, I would genuinely like her. Wife, don't worry. I am innocent with Li Xia, we haven't even held hands. I explained near Lu Ruyan's ear. She seemed to stiffen even more, her body temperature also rising. I curiously touched her. Could a person in a vegetative state truly have a reaction? Her muscles seemed tense. The inner voice sounded, grinding its teeth. Ji Baida. I'm in a coma, I'm not dead. I saw her face flush red, growing even more curious. If I kiss you, will you wake up? They say saving a life is better than building 7 pagodas. Maybe I should try it. Ji Baida. How dare you? I am greedy for money and lustful, and I can't stand a challenge. What if I dare? Wife, let's kiss. I wrapped my arm around her waist, leaned down, and kissed her on the lips. Her face visibly turned scarlet. I couldn't tell if it was from my provocation or embarrassment. Are you awake? I observed her. Ji Baida. Enough. Do you believe I'll kill you? I pondered. It seems the stimulation isn't enough. You won't wake up like this. Well, then I can relax. The billion-dollar inheritance won't fly away. But Lu Ruyan clearly misunderstood my intention. What else do you want to do, Ji Baida? I won't have any feeling for you whatsoever. Wife, let's try something more stimulating. I'm pretending to be kind just to wake you up. I can do anything. I took a silk strip from the closet, wrapped it around her wrist, and slowly tied it. How about this, do you feel anything? Lu Ruyan's eyelashes trembled violently, her ears flushed red. I gently caressed her ear, leaned down, and blew a soft breath. Wife, it turns out you like to play rough like this. Lu Ruyan seemed embarrassed and enraged. Ji Baida, don't waste your efforts. I don't like men like you. My fingertips skimmed the corner of her lips, light as a feather, then trailed lower. Her Adam's apple subtly shifted. At this moment, she looked like an incredibly sensual sculpture. I leaned down and gently pressed a kiss onto her Adam's apple. In that instant, an unsuppressed gasp escaped her mind. She didn't know I could hear her inner voice, so she was even more honest. I've never experienced this feeling before, it's so strange. It turns out to be truly pure. The content in the novel certainly didn't lie to me. She was so clean that she never had any contact with a man until she passed away. Wife, let me give you a little reward. My lips were close to her ear, and I unexpectedly gave her earlobe a light lick. A stifled moan was released in Lu Ruyan's mind. Wife, do you know how beautiful your lips are? I whispered seductively into her ear. They are the kind of lips the internet calls born to be kissed. Lu Ruyan's muscles tensed up. Although she hadn't woken up, her body still had instinctive reactions, like vigilance, self-defense, and also a hidden tension and anticipation. My lips drew near hers, lightly brushing but not kissing down. What exactly does he want? Does he really intend to kiss me? Damn it, what am I even thinking? Wife, are you anticipating it? I suddenly retreated, smiling wickedly. After all, she couldn't wake up. I wasn't afraid of her revenge, no matter how I teased her. I lay down next to Lu Ruyan and had a good night's sleep. The bed was big enough. I lay on one side and didn't touch her all night. The next morning, a visitor came to the house. It was a man named Yi Tengqing. He came to visit Lu Ruyan. Ruyan, as soon as I heard what happened to you, I immediately flew back from abroad. His eyes were red, looking at her with an affectionate gaze. He completely ignored me, stared at Lu Ruyan for a long time before turning back to me, looking surprised. Who are you? A servant of the Lu family? Why are you standing there like a blockhead? Hurry up and pour me some water. I looked down at the luxury suit I was wearing. Do I look like a servant? I walked over, blocking Yi Tengqing from the bed, sat down beside it, and gently pinched Lu Ruyan's cheek. Wife, I didn't expect you to secretly get acquainted with another man behind my back. Yi Tengqing immediately yelled. What are you doing? How dare you touch Ruyan? I calmly replied, not only can I touch her, I can fondle her too. Who told you I'm her husband? I gently pulled at Lu Ruyan's shirt, casually putting my hand inside. Yi Tengqing's eyes widened. You rogue. I exclaimed spontaneously, my wife truly possesses a captivating charm. Before she fell into a coma, I could hardly resist her every night. Yi Tengqing's face turned red with anger, and he blurted out, "You are truly shameless." Right then, I heard Lu Ruyan's inner voice. "Ji Baida, don't touch me indiscriminately. Who allowed you to say you couldn't resist me every night?" My fingers lightly grazed her waist, and I deliberately asked, "Wife, how many times have you met this man? Does he know your beauty?" Yi Tengqing was so furious that he retorted without thinking, "I am not as shameless as you. Ruyan and I are decent, innocent people." I drew out a long O sound, then turned to ask him, "Then what are you doing here? Faking deep affection, planning to score points first? Or do you want to obstruct me?" Yi Tengqing was left speechless by me, his face turning beet red. He finally couldn't say anything more. He stormed off in a huff. I gave a faint smile, my hand still resting on Lu Ruyan, completely still. Childhood sweethearts, huh? Quite a lot of bees and butterflies around, aren't there? Truly a flirtatious wife. I muttered, angrily giving her a sharp poke. Immediately, Lu Ruyan's inner voice rang out again. "Ji Baida, stop messing around. Don't touch me." I pretended not to hear, my fingers continuing to tease. Her whole body trembled. Her inner voice rang out clearer. "Ji Baida, stop it. Yi Tengqing is just my junior. His father is my teacher. There is no ambiguous relationship between us whatsoever." Hearing that, I immediately withdrew my hand, commenting with all seriousness, "I like clean women. Women who are not clean might as well be chased away and fed to the dogs." The luxurious life in this wealthy family is truly pleasant. Every day is just about eating and enjoying. If I'm in a good mood, I tease my vegetative wife. If I'm not, I bully her to my heart's content. I could live this kind of heavenly life for another 100 years. However, on that day, the private doctor came to examine Lu Ruyan. After a thorough examination, he enthusiastically told me, "Mr. Ji, Ms. Lu's condition has shown good progress." I was startled. "Please elaborate." "Her brain is showing activity. Her body is also beginning to have slight reactions. With this progression, it's highly possible that she will recover." I felt as if I'd been struck by lightning out of the blue. Was my billion-dollar inheritance about to fly away? The doctor still smiled. "Mr. G, don't be overly emotional. Perhaps it's your love for Ms. Lu that has awakened her will to live." I said, choked up, "My feelings truly have a great impact." After the doctor left, I sat by Lu Ruyan's bed in silence. "Ji Baida, do you really love money that much?" She seemed to recognize my disappointment, her internal tone filled with anger. "Am I not worth living? If you can truly wake me up, so what if I give you 100 billion? I suddenly spoke up, "Actually, I can hear your inner voice." Lu Ruyan panicked. "What are you saying?" I sneered, "Lately, every time you get emotional, I hear it loud and clear." She was taken aback, falling silent. After a moment, her inner voice rang out, this time with a hint of embarrassment. "Ji Baida, you're something else." I nodded, "I agree." She laughed angrily, "I'm being sarcastic, I'm not complimenting you." I said casually, "If it weren't for me stimulating you every day, would you have the potential for recovery you have now?" I was truly careless, worried that I wouldn't be able to control myself and overdo it, leading to her brain activity returning. "Ji Baida, I was being serious just now. If you can genuinely wake me up, I am willing to pay you 100 billion. Lu Ruyan suddenly became serious. "I will allocate company shares to you, valued at 100 billion. I quietly muttered, "Who knows if you'll keep your word when you wake up?" And so, Lu Ruyan and I reached an agreement. I would be responsible for waking her up, and she would pay me an enormous sum of money. That evening, the female nurse bathed Lu Ruyan, leaving her comfortably lying on the bed. I suddenly felt a bit awkward and spoke. "Wife, how about I call you Ms. Lu instead?" Lu Ruyan heard this, and a hint of dissatisfaction appeared in her mind. "Did your face suddenly get thin?" I climbed onto the bed, gently pinched her cheek, and whispered a prayer. "It seems you still prefer me bullying you." A silent humph resonated. I leaned down and gently bit her chin. "Is this stimulating enough?" In her mind, she gave another slight humph. "Are you planning to bite me until I wake up?" I thought for a moment, perhaps that wasn't impossible. I bit her shoulder next. This time, she was silent, with no reaction. I suddenly stopped. Why no reaction? I continued to lean down, gently biting her collarbone. Immediately, Lu Ruyan's inner voice burst out. Gee Bida, are you a dog or something? I raised an eyebrow and smirked. Who's the dog? I'm helping you recover. Lu Ruyan remained silent, not reacting, but immediately afterward, her inner voice rang out again, filled with shame and anger. If you keep biting me like this, I will break your neck one day. I chuckled upon hearing that, still deliberately teasing. You seem sensitive about this spot. If so, there's a real chance you might be provoked into waking up. With that, I gently caressed her earlobe, intentionally blowing a soft breath. Immediately, her entire body trembled, and her face flushed red. Her inner voice was full of helplessness. Where did you learn this trick? Was it from that girl Licia? It was only then that I remembered Licia, the girl the original owner had been obsessed with. I smiled mischievously. Don't tell me you're jealous of her. Lu Ruyan immediately retorted in her mind without delay. Why would I be jealous? I don't like men like you. I curled my lips, paused for a moment and said, alright then, you keep that attitude forever, and never like me. As soon as I finished speaking, I suddenly leaned down and kissed her lips. The moment our lips touched, I suddenly felt a light electric current run through me, leaving even myself a little surprised. This feeling was truly special, so much so that I had to wonder if I had started to fall for her. That night, my plan to wake her failed because I couldn't control myself and ran away midway. The following night, I lay next to her again, contemplating the events of the previous day. Lu Ruyan suddenly spoke. Gee Bida, why did you run away last night? I immediately replied in a stubborn voice. I found the kiss not very exciting, I wasn't interested. She pondered for a moment, then suddenly uttered sarcastically, could it be your first kiss? I was stunned, unsure how to answer. In truth, before transmigrating here, I was a confirmed lifelong bachelor who had never loved anyone. I had plenty of theory, but my practical experience was absolutely zero. Naturally, I didn't need to confess this to her. She spoke again. Tell me about your relationship with Licia. I thought for a moment and recalled the content of the original work. When I was in high school, some kids bullied me. Once, Licia stood up and scolded them on my behalf. So you liked her right away? Liking her, not exactly, I was just briefly infatuated at the time. She wasn't really my type. Then what is your type? My gaze rested on Lu Ruyan's face, and I smiled faintly as I replied, I like a woman who earns super big money, so busy she doesn't have time to come home. Lu Ruyan scoffed in her mind, you wish. I winked, I don't just wish, it's even better than imagination. I slowly continued, do you want to wake up and verify it yourself? Lu Ruyan coldly countered, do I still need to verify it? I've seen you already. I chuckled softly, the person you saw before was just the original owner. Even though the face and physique are exactly the same, when the soul changes, every expression and style is different. Having said that, I didn't wait for her reply, but slipped under the covers, determined to put in more effort tonight to achieve the 100 billion reward. I will try my best, I murmured to myself, while embracing her. Her body was slightly cold. I snuggled closer. Wife, are you feeling cold? I'm starting to doubt if the nurse used hot water when bathing you. She tried to remain calm, replying in her mind, I'm not cold. Gee Bida, stop wrapping your leg around me. I nestled in closer, pretending not to understand. Do you mean I should wrap it a little tighter? Conflicting phrases echoed in her mind. Don't get too close. Don't come any closer. Don't get any closer. I burst into an amused laugh upon hearing this, gently flipping over and sitting on her waist. A muffled gasp resonated in her mind. What are you doing? You are truly shameless. I looked at her and replied, I want to retry the kiss we didn't complete last night. This position is more convenient. Her body gradually warmed up, reaching a feverish heat. I leaned down, gently touching her soft lips. Her body trembled lightly. Her inner voice at this moment was very soft. Gee Bida. Another night passed. I kissed her every day before going to sleep, but Lu Ruyan still showed no signs of waking up. Half a month went by, and my patience began to wear thin. Perhaps I was destined to remain a wealthy single man, just as fate had decreed. However, Lu Ruyan, on the contrary, didn't seem discouraged. A calm voice resonated in her mind. Gee Bida, contact a friend of mine. I asked in surprise, why contact your friend? With a serious tone, she replied in her mind, tell him that you are trying to wake me up with kisses. He will know what to do next. I grew more suspicious. What does he know? Despite my doubts, I felt curious. I decided to call her close friend, Xiao Shuai. After hearing my story, Xiao Shuai excitedly said, "Brother-in-law, quickly add me on WeChat. I'll send you some useful things." I immediately added Xiao Shuai on WeChat and received a series of instructional materials. Seeing the content inside, I gaped, unsure what to say. I muttered, my voice unsteady, "Wife, don't tell me you want me to practice these things with you?" Lu Ruyan seemed very calm, replying in her mind, "It might help me wake up." I asked skeptically, "Are you sure you're not just trying to take advantage of me?" She replied calmly, "I am a person in a vegetative state, unable to move. How could I take advantage of you?" Faced with this answer, I was utterly speechless. Driven by the compassion to save a person, I decided to study seriously. While I was attentively reading the materials, Lu Ruyan's inner voice rang out again, "Do you even understand it?" I put down my phone, my face flushed but forcing a confident tone. "Who are you looking down on? It's just a few basic moves, that's all." Saying that, I leaned down and placed a light kiss on her lips. Lu Ruyan's face began to blush, and her earlobes were tinged with pink. She hesitated internally but still used a challenging tone. "Is that all you learned?" I exclaimed angrily, "Don't blame me if I torture you until you pass out tonight." With that, I pressed her down onto the bed, moving a little closer. That night, it poured outside. The raindrops hitting the window sounded like a soft piece of music. In the sound of the rain, I gradually drifted into sleep. My body was exhausted, but my heart felt light. The next morning, when I woke up, I realized the sun was already high. I softly called, "Wife." It was truly a magical night. I lifted my aching arm to cover my face, my heart filled with emotions. This was the first time in my life I had experienced such strange things. I sat up, recalling what happened last night, but then suddenly realized I couldn't hear Lu Ruyan's inner voice anymore. I turned my head, reaching out to touch the pillow next to me, only to find it empty. Where was Lu Ruyan? I hurriedly jumped up, my still sore legs nearly sending me tumbling off the bed. I dressed while running around the room, panicking. Could it be that Lu Ruyan has woken up? I rushed to the Lu family's private hospital. Her team of private doctors informed me that her condition was excellent. She had woken up once but had fallen back into a deep sleep because her body was still weak. The doctor reassured me, "Mr. G, don't worry, she will fully recover soon." My heart was filled with both astonishment and surprise. Lu Ruyan had finally truly woken up. I sat down next to the bed, looking at her sleeping body, her face peaceful, her long eyelashes slightly fluttering. Gazing at her serenity, I sighed, "Honey, when you wake up, remember to pay me for my efforts. After that, we should just get a divorce. It's right for two people without feelings to free each other." After saying this, I gently kissed her forehead, then stood up and walked toward the door. At that moment, I didn't see Lu Ruyan's eyes slowly opening behind my back. In an indescribable feeling, I didn't want to face her when she was conscious, so I immediately flew to a resort island. After all, I wasn't short of money. Wearing sunglasses, I stretched out on a beach chair. Several beautiful girls around me brought me drinks, constantly praising me with flattering words. I smiled and reached out to grab the glass of champagne, but my wrist was unexpectedly grabbed tightly by a hand. I frowned, about to scold whoever dared to disturb me, but when I looked up, I saw a familiar woman standing in front of me. With her perfect long legs, she looked at me coldly. Her deep, dark eyes swept over me mockingly. "You've been living quite well, haven't you?" For the past half-month, for some reason, I felt a little guilty, like a husband who was caught secretly doing something wrong by his wife. I scratched my head, hesitantly replying, "It hasn't been that fun." Lu Ruyan curled her lips into a faint smile and moved closer to me, creating considerable pressure. Before, she was always lying on the bed letting me tease her. Now, standing in front of me, she was completely different. What are you planning to do?" I backed away, my feet sinking into the sand. She tightened her grip on my wrist and yanked hard, causing me to stumble and fall into her. "Bida, do you think it's alright for your wife to be in the hospital while you're enjoying yourself on an island?" Her cold voice startled me. I lowered my head and realized I had accidentally grabbed the wrong place. Sorry, I truly didn't mean it this time." I quickly pulled my hand back. She stared at me, her voice sarcastic, "So you meant it every time before?" I stammered, "Wife, didn't I save you by helping you wake up? You haven't paid me yet and you already want to settle old scores." Lu Ruyan's eyes were sharp, her voice like ice. "Business is business, and old scores must also be settled." On the soft hotel bed, I was firmly pinned down, unable to move. Lu Ruyan, don't you dare play the rogue. She leaned down, her eyes staring at me chillingly, calling me by my full name now? Not calling me wife anymore. Lu Ruyan gently raised my chin, her long, delicate fingers holding it tightly, making my lips press together. Didn't you enjoy touching me before? Even getting quite excited. Held tightly like this, my lips could only mutter awkwardly, what's wrong with a man touching his wife? What kind of petty woman are you? Lu Ruyan narrowed her eyes, her tone full of mockery. So you still know you're my husband? She leaned in, her eyes meeting mine, and said in a low voice, I never agreed to divorce you. It was only then that I remembered I had left a divorce paper before leaving home. I hurriedly said, no rush, wait until you pay me first, then we'll discuss the divorce. Hearing this, Lu Ruyan's expression became even more contemptuous. Gee Bida, you are greedy for money, greedy for beauty, but you're not greedy for me, are you? Her words made me hesitate slightly, but I quickly replied, you have both money and beauty, so I am greedy for both. Lu Ruyan leaned down, her nose touching mine, her voice both soft and threatening. Then why can't you be greedy for me just a little bit longer? Why did you run away? I didn't know that Lu Ruyan had actually arrived on this island 3 days ago, secretly observing me. She watched my every move from afar, as if wanting to compare my current self with the past G Bida, to see what differences I had. G Bida, how about we try getting to know each other? Her gentle voice whispered into my ear, softly tempting. Perhaps then you will like a wife like me, who is super capable of earning money and so busy she never has time to come home. Her whisper in my ear reminded me of the times I had teased her when she was in a coma. Now, every action, every gesture of hers was returning exactly what I had done to her. My mind gradually became hazy. I could only mutter, if you really don't have time to come home, that would be nice. Her hot lips suddenly touched mine, making me fall silent. I couldn't comprehend how she had managed to drag me back to her side, seated on her private jet to return home. On the flight, my body was utterly exhausted, nearly drifting off. I weakly whispered, you just recovered, is doing all this really okay? Lu Ruyan gently nestled close to me, softly placing a kiss on my forehead. I've had a full health checkup, there's no problem. Don't worry. I mumbled awkwardly, who's worried about you? I'm worried about myself. I bowed my head sullenly. If I knew you were this strong, I wouldn't have dared to mess with you from the start. Lu Ruyan gave me a sidelong glance. It's too late now. The next day, just as we arrived home, an uninvited guest showed up. It took me a moment to realize it was Li Xia. G Bida, you're back? Li Xia joyfully approached, her eyes lighting up. She quickly ran closer to me, saying with a voice full of hope, I heard Lu Ruyan is processing the transfer of a large block of shares to you, valued at 100 billion. She looked at me, her voice soft, as long as you divorce her, I'm willing to give you a chance to date me. I couldn't help but burst into laughter. Li Xia, thinking I had finally achieved my desire and could come to her, also smiled brightly. Can you divorce quickly? I'll wait for you. I raised my hand and pointed at myself, asking, do you think I look like an idiot? My question stunned Li Xia. Just then, Lu Ruyan walked down from upstairs. Her long legs moved step by step toward me, then she slowly leaned against me. She wrapped her arms around my waist, softly kissed my cheek, and said sweetly, honey, come upstairs and sleep a little more with me. Completely ignoring Li Xia, who was standing there dumbfounded, she pulled me upstairs. Li Xia stood dazed for a moment, then called out after me, her voice filled with despair, G Bida, don't you want to be with me anymore? You pursued me for 5 years, you said you loved me, and you even said you could sacrifice your life for me. I felt my waist being squeezed tighter. The hand of the woman beside me suddenly held me back firmly. I glanced at Li Xia, and spoke in a cold voice. How dare you even say those words? Over the past 5 years, you've toyed with the feelings of a man who always loved you, positioning yourself as noble and proud while accepting all the gifts from your admirers. How shameless. I made it clear to her, the person I love is my wife, Lu Ruyan. She is the most wonderful woman in this world, and you are not worthy to be compared to a single one of her fingers. Having said that, I turned away without looking back. Li Xia's face was pale. Lu Ruyan, unable to hide her disgust, instructed the butler. Mr. Su, escort her out of my house. If she ever comes back, unleash the dogs. As soon as we reached the bedroom, Lu Ruyan immediately pushed me against the door, asking in a cold voice, you loved her enough to be willing to sacrifice your life for her? Were you planning to divorce me to be with her? Her question made me laugh. I lightly curled my lip and said, "You don't like men like me, nor do you have any feelings for me. So why are you jealous?" She replied immediately without hesitation, "I am not jealous." I wrapped my arms around her waist, leaned down, and lightly kissed her lips, whispering, "There is no other woman in my heart, and there has never been anyone but you." Although she didn't reply, her hands were still placed behind my back, holding me even tighter. Her eyes were gentle and sincere. And just like that, I officially began the life of a rich and happy man. After her coma, Lu Ruyan returned to her busy work at the company. Just as she had once said, she was extremely good at making money and seemed to never have time to come home. At times, I felt a little lonely, but at the same time, I was also very satisfied. Before coming to this world, I didn't have a family, but now I had a stable home, and what's more, this home was incredibly luxurious. "Sir, the madam has reserved a dinner table at a restaurant. You can go there in half an hour." The butler came to inform me. I nodded and followed the driver to a luxury restaurant. As soon as I walked in, I saw flowers and balloons everywhere, the atmosphere incredibly romantic. The lights suddenly went out. A violinist standing in the corner began to play a melodious piece of music. In the soft, dim light, I saw Lu Ruyan wearing an exquisite evening gown, slowly walking toward me with a ring box in her hand. "Baida, will you marry me?" I was dazed. "Aren't I already your husband?" Her eyes sparkled as she looked at me. "Perhaps you don't remember, but during the time I was in a coma, you kept saying that if you came to this world, you only wanted to be a rich single man." I was dumbfounded in an instant. So she had known for a long time that I wasn't from this world. Lu Ruyan took the ring out of the box, held my hand, and gently slid the ring onto my ring finger. Her warm, deep voice resonated over the music, even drowning out the violin. "I am so happy you came to this world. I hope you will stay with me forever, Baida. I can't let you be a rich single man, but I will try my best to make you the happiest husband."